Welcome to the Q&A session 3 of the Inventors Garage Demo Day with myself, Evan Curry, Group Editor at Bizcommunity.com. Joining me today is Suko Mafolo, Account Manager at IDC. Well done to all the startups on your demos. They were actually really quite interesting. So I'd like to get started with the Q&A. Suko, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Okay, so to start off with the Q&A, we're going to get Invader Solutions. Seppo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Evan. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Can you hear us loud and clear?
Yes.
Fantastic. Suko, do you want to start off with a question for Seppo or give some insights?
Thank you. Seppo, thank you for the presentation and the wonderful work you've been doing. What's the motivation? What really started you on this journey to start with this development?
I've always had a passion for the environment, especially taking trail runs in the mountains, being in the ocean. So these have been a close passion for me. I mean, being around the environment. But I saw that because I have a chemical engineering degree, I also didn't want to work because I did a bit of work at Anglo American and I hated it. So I thought, what's the best way of merging two of the things that I truly like, which is applied chemistry and the environment, to see what sort of products I can create. So we've created over 6 products, and all of them are tailor-made to ensure that A, the environment is well secured, but also B, we are able to ensure that we're solving a very big need in the market.
So what are those products? I know for this pitch, you are actually pushing the utensils for the green packaging industry, but what other products have you developed and what stage are they ready for commercialization?
So in terms of the products we've created firstly bioplastics. These are currently undergoing sort of testing at the CSIR. We've also created something called nanocellulose. So essentially this is when you see paper, it's cellulose, but ours is on a nanoscale and can be used for cement industry, in cosmetics, has various applications. We've also created something which is really interesting, which is called bio crude oil. So you know crude oil that is currently being drilled from the ground in the ocean or crude oil. So what we have created is simulated that same process in a lab in about an hour using plant material. So that's also created something called vanillin, which is a synthetic alternative to vanilla, which is also made from plant material. We've created something called hemicellulose, and this is also from plant material. But I'm forgetting one more thing. Yeah, we've also created cellulose nanocrystals. These are also from plant material. So we essentially take waste plant material, things like sawdust, and we then convert these from the same process into these multiple products. So you have these waste plant material coming in and these 6 products coming out.
I mean, that's impressive. You're a small team essentially of 2. So how do you see the business evolving? Do you see yourself as a tech development company and possibly licensing or providing raw materials for other manufacturers? Or do you see yourself growing bigger and getting into manufacturing of all these products and really commercializing and selling? How do you see your company evolving?
We see ourselves growing in a very steady pace, going towards creating a biorefinery. So everything that I described to you is essentially a biorefinery. And we are sort of slowly taking these products step by step to get to a point wherein we are either producing the bioplastics for various applications ourselves, or we can also use these to sell them to other companies that are currently using plastics that are produced from from oil. So, but the long story short is that we are looking at creating a biorefinery, us creating these products and selling them to the market. But most of these products, if you look at something like vanillin, this is something that a flavor house would take on and purchase and create flavors with it. Also, our bioplastic pellets can be taken by other companies and create other products with them. Our nanolignin as well. I mean, you can take it and use it as an additive for sunscreen. So we create all of our products are somewhat a platform chemicals, but they can also be used as final products.
I did get a sense of the ask for your presentation. What is it that you are looking for to move ahead?
So this year we've managed to secure 2.5 million rands, and this has been mainly to prove the concepts that I spoke about. And we are looking at next year producing on a pilot scale. So doing all of that I mentioned, but on a pilot scale, producing higher outputs. And for that, we are looking at about raising 15 million just for the pilot scale. And 2022 will be targeting to raise about 80 million rands. Then that's a much bigger biorefinery production. But at this moment, our Series A will be next year, and we'll be looking for 15 million rands.
Okay. No, I think that's wonderful. Thanks, Evan. That's it for me. Thanks, Tepo.
Thank you, Tepo. Thank you, Suko. I see there's a question coming on the platform for Tepo. How much does it cost Invader per kilo to create the nanoplastic?
So the plastic, we've managed to reduce the unit cost to about 60 rand per kilogram. So this is very difficult to do, especially with bioplastics. And this is something that we're really proud of. So at the moment, it's about 60 rands per kg. And we'll be retailing it if we do make cutlery to ensure that it's at 80 rands per kg once we sell all these products.
Okay, thank you for that. All right. Anything else you want to add to that, Suko, or can we move on?
No, that's it. Thanks, Tepo.
Okay, thank you, Tepo. All right.
Thank you
Okay,
very
so
much.
next up, we're going to have a swallowing toilet. Mani, are you there?
Hello.
Hi, Mani. Well done on your presentation.
Thank you so much.
All right. Suko, do you want to get started?
Yes, Mani, thanks. I think it's always wonderful where you understand the motivation of the innovator, what drives them and why they're passionate about what they're doing. It's incredible to really, come with a new design for a new toilet. I mean, something that's been used for years and years. What are the compromises that you think you've made in this design? I think the original toilet was doing something different, but now you've changed the design to achieve a certain objective. But what were the compromises that you had to make?
We had to take the ordinary toilet and inspect what is happening with it. So on our finding, we found that it was invented in somewhere 400 years ago. And most of the things, they are changing every year, all like the cell phones, they are changing, but the toilet, there is no difference. And as I was growing up, I had a challenge of not having a running water and a proper sanitation. That's when I realized that we have to do something with the toilet, because the ordinary toilet does waste water. So we come up with a toilet that uses less than 1 liter of water to flush.
What about the smell? Because one of the things you said, the current design was also to prevent the smell from flowing from the sewer into the household. So what about that with your design?
With our design, it doesn't have the solid P-trap. You see, there is a solid P-trap at the back. Ours is flexible. When it's not in use, it is having that P-trap to block the smell from coming back from the house. But when it's in use, it relaxes on the surface to allow the free movement of waste, and it is one flush guaranteed. So there is no smell.
Okay. So in terms of the retrofit, what is it exactly that you would need to retrofit from an existing to this new design? What sort of parts, and are they readily available in the market?
Is the flexible mechanism, the one that we are changing from the solid P-trap. That's the only thing that we are changing.
And that's, I mean, easily available in the market.
Yes, it's available, but we are currently wanting to manufacture it from our own company. We don't have the plant to manufacture the whole design. We have to buy ordinary toilet and cut it, and to assemble the way we want it to be like. That's the only challenge we are having.
See, Okay, thanks. My concern is about commercialization. I mean, really exploiting the IP that we have, because if you do not have a proprietary part that you only can provide, what's stopping any plumber from looking at your current system and then essentially copying it and start providing the service all over? What is it that will make you be the only company that can exploit this IP?
Already the idea is protected. We patented it, it's already protected.
But if somebody wants to go look at your current installation and they want to go and do it themselves, how do you manage that? Because as an investor, the question is that, is your IP protected? Can you enforce the protection? I think that's my concern.
Yeah, it's protected. It's protected. No way that somebody can come and steal it. And it's a new invention. Yeah.
So the trial that you are currently doing in Pretoria and I think in Johannesburg, how have you received any market feedback?
Yes, we piloted the toilet at Soweto for Water Research Commission. So people from that side, the one that we were piloting at that side, they didn't want us to take our toilet because they saw the potential of our toilet. They were like, can we keep the toilet? And we only went there to demonstrate for Water Research Commission. So it is having a huge potential.
And the certification, have you received anything in terms of what your SABS certification and whatever permits you need to retrofit and install the system going forward?
We are still in the process with agreement for them to test for us.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So the cost of installing, what do you estimate the cost of full installation of a retrofit toilet? Is it a new installation or can you retrofit existing toilets? And what will be the cost?
It is the new installation, the whole system. It will cost 1,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, thanks and congratulations on your invention. Thanks,
Thank you
Evan.
so much.
Thanks, Mani. Thank you very much. That
Thank
was
you.
quite informative. And good luck. All right. So next up, we're going to have a SlideLuvre, Tunnel Panel Trading System by Marlene Badenhorst. Hi, Marlene.
Hello, everybody.
How are you
Morning.
doing?
I'm fine. Yourself? It's just cold here in Cape Town.
Freezing. But as long as we're indoors, which is fine.
Yes.
All right, Suko, do you have anything that you would like to ask Marlene?
Marlene, thank you. Interesting innovation, interesting invention. My question is, why this route? I mean, currently there are other people working on different solutions. For instance, coating existing windows or replacing, coming up with new types of windows where basically you just sandwich semiconductors and essentially achieve this thing. Why this route of putting shutters on windows?
Well, there's actually a couple of reasons. I think all the ones that you've mentioned, if you look at, for instance, at coating on a window or at building integrated PV or some solution like that, they basically cover one aspect, of the solution. What we were looking at is if we look at solar energy and the generation of solar energy on the one hand, and you also look at how you can improve the energy efficiency of a building. And if you can combine that in one product, you kill a couple of birds with one stone. So that's really where it all started. And, I got the idea a couple of years ago. I was a shareholder in an office building. And I just realized, that the current solutions that we're sitting with is not really, the best solution out there. And that actually put me on the path of looking at it from a new perspective and see what I could come up with.
And maybe a little bit on the product. Is it transparent? Are the panels transparent when they are fully shut? Or are they going to work like shutters where, depending on the angle, then you can maybe even have visibility and so forth?
It is not a transparent product, so it's a solid slat, and you will get basically by using intelligent automation, we're basically determining the optimum position for that slat. Depending on the amount of solar energy you want to generate, but also the amount of light you actually want to get into the building. So we basically came up with a decision-making model to say that, what's the optimum slat position per facade. If you look at, for instance, at an eastern facade or a western facade or northern, obviously they will be at different angles throughout the course of the day, also depending on, your position on the globe. So there's lots of variables that we actually take into account to determine that slat position.
The application of the solution, is it going to be widely accepted? Because I can just imagine where, architects and commercial buildings, especially in these metro cities where people really, really take their time to design and facades and everything to make sure it looks the way they do. I mean, it's less about energy efficiency, it's about ego, maybe sometimes we say. So how do you think this product will impact on the actual design of existing buildings or even new buildings that are coming up? Wouldn't that be a pushback from owners?
Well, first of all, if you look at existing buildings, obviously it's a huge market. We're not going to demolish existing building and build a new building just for it to be green. So the greening of existing buildings is actually a very huge market for us. And then new buildings, obviously, as you rightly say, architects has got, it needs to look pretty. It needs to be functional and all sorts of things. So we have done quite comprehensive customer discovery. I had a discussion with quite a number of architects. So I think there's definitely, if you look at the frame of the design, there's definitely different options that we can give to those potential customers. So I think from that perspective, it's quite customizable, but the core function of the Louvre will still stay the same.
And then I see you're seeking grant funding to finish off the field trial, as it were, because at this stage, all the results are essentially based on simulations. So how far are you with achieving that grant funding to finish that pilot study?
We are currently basically finishing our beta prototype. So we will have a fully functional beta prototype within the next month. We are currently busy with the mechanical design review process. So we are going into field trials just after that and concluding that in the first quarter of 2021, and then start with our market entry after that.
Okay. So the current ask now is that grant funding to complete that field trial?
Yes. So just after that, you will probably go into a low level of manufacturing, for the reference site, because obviously you can't just put one or two louvres on a building. You actually need to manufacture quite a few to actually do a proper reference site. And then, when that has gone down successful, we will then go into full-blown commercialization effort.
Sorry, Marlene. I think we're running out of time. Thank you for that. That was quite insightful. Thanks, Suko, for those questions. Thank you, Marlene. Okay, so we're going to go on to Ecohub. Kennedy, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Great, welcome, and thanks for your presentation.
Thank you.
All right. So, Suko, would you like to share some of your insights?
Yeah, sure, thanks. And even if there are any questions, just jump in from the floor, so we can also take them in at any time. Kennedy, how's Rambo doing?
Rambo is doing fine. He's just waiting for his house. Mhm.
Okay, no, that's wonderful. What's your primary motivation? Is it solving housing problems, or is it the economy and the problem with waste plastic in the environment? What
Thanks for
would
the
say is your
question.
primary objective? Yeah.
Pretty much both, but the first one being solving housing, followed by empowering economically. Because, like I said, 15 years ago when I did my thesis, all that actually inspired the thesis. Even it even got a high distinction. So it's because of that, looking at how I could help Rambo, not really give him a handout, but really engage him. So that's where the economic part comes in, because he'll be part of the building process. Initially, his labor will be in part contribution to the amount of the house, so that he always feels that he has ownership of it. That's the distinction.
So what type of business, excuse me, what
No,
type of business are you? Okay, go ahead.
no, you.
Okay, go ahead. All right. The type of business that you are looking in, because it sounds more like you are looking more into a social business. Is it for profit? Is it an NPO? Is it a social business? How do you see this company evolving with this innovation that you have?
Thanks for that. Yes, it is for profit and for the environment as well. That's why we want to combine recycling and architecture to take up plastics to protect the environment, at the same time solving the housing problem. So it's really solving a problem. It's basically a problem becoming a solution on the other hand.
Okay.
So
Even
evolving means we just see ourselves really combining recycling and architecture.
Okay. Thank you. The question that I wanted to just ask you quickly is, could you maybe briefly just take us through the process of how the products are produced that you use?
How the products are produced is a collection of HDP plastics. Then it's recycled or put into a crusher, combined with composites, combined with additives to make it stronger and lighter, and fade resistant and fire resistant. Then it goes to our mold. Our mold produces the brick. Then from the brick, you get the housing. The bricks are non-load bearing. There's a steel structural frame which encases the bricks.
Okay, thank you. Anything else you'd like to add, Suko?
Yeah, the question, I think the concern for me, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what happened in Botswana. The challenge I can foresee with the business is securing the raw materials, the plastics, and the related ecosystem that you need to be existing in a particular market before we can embark on this commercialization of this innovation. For instance, how much plastic would you need to build a 20 square meter business? And how long would it take a typical person to collect that much plastic?
Good question. Thanks for that question, actually. With that, plastic, HDP plastic is everywhere. I mean, example is your milk jugs. With one eco break, it weighs about 4 kilos, and 50% of it is the HDP plastic. You need about 40 milk jugs for one brick. So to get basic room for Rambo, let's say 12 square meters, we are looking at 5 days, and we are looking about each house weighs about 2 tons. So it's about 50% is about a ton, and to get him a ton of plastic, just milk jugs alone, it could take him 3 weeks or so to collect. But all of this is going to happen once we have secured a manufacturing line and the rest. Right now, we are really outsourcing while
Okay.
testing these products. So until we could get accurate statistics once we have launched the manufacturing site. But
All
on
right.
paper, it proves possible.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Sorry, I don't want to run out of time because I see Smart Bin still needs to go. I mean, Smart eBin, sorry, still to get some questions. So thank you, Letsogile, for that. That was informative.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Kennedy.
Abide, are you there?
Bye.
Yes, I am. How are you guys?
Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Evan.
Yes, can you hear us clearly?
Yeah, yes, I can. So sorry,
right.
man. I'm in Joburg, so it's quite cold, and my network is quite bad. So
Okay,
I've had to step
as long
out.
as you're here and you joined us. So let's see if Suka has any insights or questions that you'd like to give you.
Yeah, good morning. I
Super.
think we'll have to rush a little bit through this one.
Yeah.
The trial that you've done in Sibuke,
Yes.
what lessons have you learned from that? So what type of clients did you have? Is it corporate clients or is it individual clients? Do you think the lessons from that trial would be able to extend to the new plant that you're trying to establish in the CVD?
All right. So thanks so much for that question. That's a very critical question. It's really the reason why I've realized that it's best to move operations to Joburg. When we initiated that particular pilot plant, so when we started that, the biggest issue was we figured there's more e-waste in households, and we quickly discovered that as much as that may be the case, households are very dispersed, and you really, to have a sustainable business, you needed your electronic waste to be in one place. Most of our clientele surprisingly turned out to be corporates, such as your card tracks, your VUTs, your universities. These guys literally have stockpiles of electronic waste sitting somewhere waiting to be accessed. So it was quite fundamental that we actually move operations, because in servicing clients, you'd have to travel over 50, 100 kilometers just to collect a few bits of e-waste from one client, which is very costly. So lessons learned from the first phase of the business was really location is key. We were literally located in a location which is far from our clientele, your corporates. So moving to Johannesburg, the move was really very strategic to say we'll be better localized. It'll be very localized, collected from clients within Joburg. At the same time, it will simplify and ease and add to the sustainability of the business by lowering logistics. Most of our suppliers are situated around Joburg and on the outskirts of Joburg. So literally at times you'd find that we collect from Joburg, we collect from Sandton, we collect from Midrand, but we still have to travel all the way back to Sebokeng, get to site, process our stock, and then travel back, not to Joburg, but on the other side of Joburg. So literally it was like a huge triangle, which is very costly. But now from Joburg, we're very centralized. We service all our clients within a short distance. But
Okay.
yeah, so there are
Thanks,
critical lessons to take from that.
All right. The question also on your presentation, you say you are about 35% or 60% cheaper. Why is that? Is it that you achieve that savings because of any proprietary technology, or you're just cheaper because you're cheaper? Just touch less.
We run out of time.
Oh, okay.
What's that even?
Can we make that answer quite short because we're running out of time?
All right. Okay, so the secret sauce is that it's twofold. Firstly, I'm an engineer, so we really know how to cut costs and optimize. So really optimize our whole process. And then the second fold would be how our technology works. You know, it's really just dice and chop in real time, and then we're out of there. You know, we tag, next product, tag, and then we actually out of there. So it's really about cutting efficiencies, and as well being very direct with how we use our tech.
Okay. No,
Great.
thanks, Evan. In the interest of time, I think, yeah, I have. Yeah.
Businesses for providing your demos. I think we onto something here, and it's quite interesting. And I just want to wish all of the startups good luck for the future. And yeah, I think that's it for the session. I just want to encourage everyone, if you've asked any questions, to maybe go onto the platform and just answer, and you can take it further, the conversation further.
Right. Super. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
eh?
you.
Have a
Thank
great
you, everybody.
day. Bye-bye.